do my on purpose.
I'm not going to miss that.
Well, good afternoon, everyone. We're just giving another minute for people to get in the room before we get started. Hello, everyone. I'm just looking to see who joined us today. Interesting. Okay. All right. We've already got 26 to get started. So I think, and we've got the recording going. So here we go. Welcome, everyone, especially those who are brand new to our call to Tuesday Notary Titans. And normally I would have Jen Neitzel, my partner in crime. Oops, not crime. What? My partner in all things notary. She is not available today. So I'm going to be running the call, but not by myself. I do have Jen Cooper, who says Jen Neitzel. Jen Cooper.
That's Jen Neitzel, but I'm Cooper.
But
Yeah.
she's Cooper today. She's going to assist in running the chat for us today and making sure we stay right on time. And then, of course, my good colleague and friend Matt Miller is joining us today. And in just a few minutes, we're going to be hearing from him for our legislative minute. Also, I just want to say hi to all the YouTube viewers out there who might be watching this later. Welcome to the call. First of all, if you want to know anything about the etiquette of this call, just check the chat. We've got it in there for you. Just remember, no bots allowed. And that's because there's a functional problem. When somebody does that, it cuts off our video recording. So please don't use those. The first announcement, a couple of those before we get started, is I'm beyond thrilled to tell you that Jen's book is out. So that's Jen Neitzel's book, On the Move, the relationship-driven 5-point marketing system for mobile businesses. I'm going to tell you, it's over on Amazon. Of course, I had an early read, but then I just bought it and got it and read it again. And really, it is just so fantastic because there's just straightforward, actionable steps for any mobile business service that they can utilize and improve their marketing efforts. So if you weren't aware, the links are in the chat. Please go, even if it's just a Kindle version, get it, read it, review it. All right. Next, we are going to have a summer event out there in Texas, Amber Gist, Empower Notary Summit. And that is coming up. So there's still room for a few seats if anybody is local to the area and wants to join. Jen Cooper you're speaking at that, right, Jen?
I am, yeah.
She is. And what are you speaking about?
Talking about AI and how to make it work for your notary business. Yeah.
There you go. Fantastic. Let's just see what else we've got here. I think that's it for the announcements.
Well, we've got the Dallas Fort Worth Notaries meetup. It's on the 13th of August. It is at Panera Bread and Coppell. Anyways, there's a link there. You can click that so you can register. And then next week is another Jen's TNT. It's a marketing day. So let you guys know about that.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, guess what, Matt? I think we're going to go to you and have a legislative minute about any new laws we should be aware of. So can you share your screen?
Yes.
Okay,
let me do that now. I'd like to send a request. You should have gotten a request.
Approved.
Okay. There we go. Well, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. Thanks for being here. You're in for a real treat today if you're here today because you might hear of something to give you a competitive advantage or help you stay compliant. Again, my name is Matt Miller, president of the California League of Independent Notaries, and monthly, usually towards the end of the month, I'll come on and talk about either new laws that are going to affect or what kind of proposals might be floating around out there and how you guys can make your voice heard on them. So this month, we're going to talk about new laws that are going into effect in August. And first up, we have Louisiana House Bill 385, which simply requires that the oath of office for a notary public that is recorded be free of charge. So this means that notaries in Louisiana who take the oath will now have their oath of office filed for free. So that's a little bit of relief for Louisiana notaries. Also in Louisiana, we have Louisiana House Bill 89. Notaries in Louisiana, in case you're unaware, can do more than notaries in any other state or jurisdiction, including assisting people with estate plans. So House Bill 89 relates to this, and it allows a notary to receive a death certificate that would help the notary who is assisting an heir with what's called a small succession. And what a small succession is basically a simplified process for transferring a deceased individual's property when the estate value is relatively small. So Louisiana notaries, if you're in the estate planning space, this might help you in your day-to-day needs with doing that. Moving on to North Dakota, North Dakota Senate Bill 2127 makes North Dakota yet another state to enact the Uniform Law Commission's Uniform Electronic Estate Planning Documents Act. Whew, that's such a mouthful. Otherwise known as the UEEPDA. Now, this law specifically authorizes that a non-testamentary estate planning document that requires notarization to be notarized electronically, whether that be in person through IPIN or online through remote online notarization. And this new law permits, but does not require, a non-testamentary estate planning document to be created, signed electronically. So therefore, individuals who want to continue to do in-person and traditional ink and paper may continue to do that. But I want to make clear here that this is for non-testamentary documents. So wills do not qualify for this. If you're writing a will in North Dakota or notarizing a will with a self-proving affidavit in North Dakota, still needs to be paper, still needs to be in person. All right, but there is a twist, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Before we leave North Dakota, they also passed Senate Bill 2144, and this is good for online notaries. It authorizes the notary to charge a technology fee when performing remote online notarizations if A, the notary has incurred the fees for use of the communication technology, and of course they will have had some kind of platform fee. B, the notary and the person requesting the notarial act agree to the technology in advance, so you can't spring it on them at the last minute. And C, the notary explains to the person requesting the notarial act that the technology fee is separate from the notarial fee. So you have to make sure that you tell them that is different from that. But this will be a huge help for North Dakota notaries who are itching to get into the online notary business, but have not yet been able to cover their costs. So way to go, North Dakota notaries. Now, I also have two bonus laws. The last four I mentioned, those are all effective August 1. The next two have unique enactment dates. So Arizona's House Bill 2344, this will go into effect on the 26th of August, simply gives consumers the right to choose their own notary instead of having to accept the notary that the title company wants them to use. Now, we think this is a huge win for independent notaries who are well established in their communities and new notaries who are trying to break into the market. So you can advertise directly to the public now your ability to help them close real estate transactions, not just the title and signing service arena. And I'd like to see more of these types of laws passed across the country so that businesses are free to run their business the way they want and consumers are free to make the choice that they want. I know I have plenty of customers that I've been working with for many, many years who get really frustrated when their real estate transactions are forced to go to another notary and they're like, but I got a notary. So finally, Missouri House Bill 754. Now, this is the twist that I was talking about earlier to the Electronic Estate Planning Documents Act. Missouri went all in. So House Bill 754, this is the most sweeping update to the Uniform Electronic Transactions Act, which previously excluded last wills and estate planning documents from being signed or notarized electronically. When the UETA was first passed about 20 years ago, the probate attorney lobby expressed very deep concerns about allowing electronic signatures for these types of sensitive documents. However, times have changed, and House Bill 754 eliminates those exceptions, now allowing such documents to be electronically executed, all of them. So under this new law, electronic signatures can be used for notarizing estate planning documents and for making a last will self-proved. So this law specifically permits online notaries to notarize self-proving electronic wills, which is different from any other state that has passed the Uniform Electronic Estate Planning Documents Act. This bill also addresses future emergencies, which was very unique. During the COVID-19 pandemic, Missouri, like many other states, temporarily waived in-person signing requirements for different types of documents, including estate planning documents. And this was essential as many people became ill and needed to quickly create an estate plan, even while being isolated. So House Bill 754 establishes a clear rule for executing estate planning documents during similar emergencies in the future, ensuring people can still finalize their estate plans despite any restrictions that might be put in place. Now, if you are a Missouri online notary or an online notary serving Missouri, this could be a huge opportunity for you. I would highly recommend you go after all estate planning companies, lawyers, paralegals, legal document assistants all throughout Missouri, and other firms outside of Missouri that may be serving Missouri clients, because I think that Missouri is surely going to be the Peachtree dish for full-blown electronic estate plans. And one little bonus, I'm going to post it in the chat. If you are interested in stuff like this and you are interested in getting involved and being at the forefront of these types of changes, Marcy Tiberio and myself did a fireside chat recently about that exact topic. And I have the link that I am going to share with you in the chat. But that's all I have for this month, guys. Thank you so very much. I will be here for any questions.
Thank you so much, Matt. And you know, having access like this to the information, both early on and at the time of implementation, really helps us as notaries to start thinking about, is there a business implication to that? Is there a compliance implication to that that I need to be prepared for? We should be right in front of what's going on rather than finding out at a signing, rather than finding out on a call like this long after, you know, it's happened and you've been doing it a different way. So one, and I doubt the other states are much different than California. They expect us to figure it out. They expect us to find out, go to their website, look for their newsletter, look for any announcements, utilize memberships like the NNA anywhere. But the expectation, if you didn't know, is on you. So when I hear a notary say, well, they didn't tell me, guess what? Not their job, your job to stay on top of it. So I'm glad that we have the opportunity with having somebody like Matt on our call that can give us some heads up about this. Thanks, Matt, for all you do. Okay, we're going to actually segue into questions, and there is a prompt question. Jen, could you put it in the chat for me, please? We're going to, although I'll take any questions that come this way, we are also, you know, interested in making sure we're refining and honing our skills as notaries. And you know, that's what I love to do best. So I will start with Candy.
Hello, good afternoon from Arizona. Hi, Matt. This question is for Matt about Arizona HB 2344. I'm looking at this from the other side of this. My clients are title companies and I provide teams of notaries for them. So if my client has signers who want their own notary to come in, how does the title company guarantee that their notaries that are coming in are not just general notaries, but actually loan signing agents that are qualified to do real estate closings? Can you kind of look at that from that side of it? I know there's room for all of us in this business, and I don't have an issue with competition at all on that front. But should I contact my title companies and let them know, hey, if somebody asks you, can I bring my own notary? Because it's going to be less or free from what you charge. How can I tell them to approach that to keep my business intact? Does that make sense? I mean, it kind of like a five-sided question there, but yeah.
No, it makes great sense, and I totally understand. the concern from the title company side of things and signing service side of things. I get it. I think in the real world, the amount of times that someone's actually going to say, I've got my own notary is going to be slim to none. I think that people are still going to expect that the title company or signing service is going to supply that notary for the closing of their loan. But to answer your question, how should title companies approach this? I don't know, because it is the consumer's choice now. It's not their choice anymore. So I think that they should maybe educate their customers, right? Has your notary worked with our documents before? Is your notary bonded? Does your notary carry E&O insurance? If not, how are they going to back the transaction? So turn it into more of an education type approach as to a no can do approach, which they can't really do.
So help them educate their signers.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, okay.
If someone was going to ask me those questions, I'm sure they'd be thoroughly satisfied with my credentials and my experience. But you might come across somebody who's got an office notary who performs maybe a handful of notarizations a year, and he thinks that he or she is adequate and may not be. So I think that they should ask questions when a signer says, I have my own notary.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
And actually, even today, in California, we have the right to choose our own notary already. We already have that right. It's just that most people, by the time they find out they had a choice, you're at the signing table with another notary. So it's not well communicated up front. But whenever I've had that opportunity to say, I could be your notary. I'm certified in loan signings. I carry the 100,000 for the E&O, and I'd be happy to help you when that time comes. Now, they'll give pushback. The title companies, well, we like to use the people on our list. Well, I'm telling you that this signer has the right to choose, and as long as I meet your qualifications you ask of your other notaries, then you need to let me take care of this assignment. And I've been able to take care of them. And a lot of times it's, the more you know, right? The more you know. It's better for you as a consumer to be aware of these things. And it also helps when you're talking with signers and it happens to come up that they're going to buy a property or sell a property. That's what I do. I'd be happy to help you when that time comes. But I did hear there was a little bit of a little requirement there that if they only have to do that in Missouri, they only have to do that if it's going to be financially better for the signer. Meaning, if they offer it free, or they're just charging $15, whatever their $5, whatever it is, then the signer doesn't necessarily need to be choosing it. Did I understand that right, Matt? That there is a requirement that it's only when.
Yeah, if the signing service does not offer it for free, or the title company rather, that is as a caveat of the new Arizona law. If this title company does not offer it for free, then the consumer has a right to choose their own notary.
All right, so we'll have to remember that. Of course, it doesn't say that for us. I mean, when you look on that document, I can't think of the name of it, and it says, and you get to choose your own. Here's where you get to choose, and it lists 4 or 5 different things that a notary.
It's like a consumer rights thing, and
yeah. Of course, we've got every right known to man. California, of course, we're already doing it. It's just that the public doesn't know it. So Thanks for asking that question, Candy, and thanks, Matt, for the information. Carol.
Hi, how are y'all doing?
It's super fantastic.
Good. Just trying to stay cool in Florida these days, which is not easy.
Be pretty hot today.
I have a couple of questions. They're somewhat related. Anyway, and they're probably for Matt. Matt, somebody had asked on a LinkedIn post the other day who all provides e-apostees.
Yeah,
Um,
there's 2 states.
is it just, and somebody said Florida did, is that correct?
I'm not aware of Florida having launched e-apostilles yet.
And I wasn't either. And it came up I saw it on a Facebook post, and I think Michelle Gardner, I don't know if she's on here, had mentioned it. So, okay.
They might be looking at it. I know several states are looking at
looking at it. Okay.
because they're planning their budgets now for the next fiscal year.
Okay.
So I think, and there is a huge push from the Hague for states to get on board with this. But
Okay.
it's going to, it's a governmental process. It's going to take time. It's going to take funding.
Right.
And those things take time. But currently, Montana and Wisconsin do it. Montana does it way more than Wisconsin. I think Wisconsin's still down to like they can count on 2 hands how many they've issued. But Montana are issuing them daily.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
My second question is, and this came up with a chat with our group that we have with Celicia. It appears, well, that there are 2 counties in Florida now, and I service both, Lee and Collier, who are offering virtual marriages.
Which are illegal.
And so how are they doing this? Because
they're doing it illegally.
The statute does not have a specific provision allowing it.
Nope.
But these 2 counties are. So what can we do? Do we have to write the Secretary of State? I mean,
Celicia brought this to our attention a couple weeks ago, and she's right. We both looked at the statute, and it's very clear. There are no exceptions for virtual solemnizations of wedding in the state of Florida. So these 2 counties are clearly going rogue, and about the only thing you can do is your Secretary of State's not going to help you because they're not an enforcement agency.
Right.
You have to go to your Attorney General's office. They are an enforcement agency. And I think if more and more Florida notaries who are doing weddings rattle the trees at the Attorney General's office, I'm quite sure they will send a very strongly worded letter to these counties, and they're going to have to zip it up. And they're going to have to go back to all of these virtual weddings that they have solemnized and probably have the people come in person to do it over, because according to your statutes, these weddings may or may not be legal.
Well, I guess the question I had, and it's, is there any reason, and I guess I'm asking this just in general, the clerk of courts, I believe, and an attorney in Florida can are considered notaries. So are you saying that it's falling under notarial law and not some other statute? Was my question about which is the Florida statute for marriage, and that they're somehow getting around it. That was my question. Because
I mean, I'm not an attorney, but in reading the statute that you're citing, I couldn't see any other way around it, and I'm not aware. Yeah, Celicia just popped in the chat.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not aware of any other
and I'm not saying
statute.
I like this. I'm just trying to figure out why 2 counties would go rogue without.
Well, I mean, Carol, we don't have to understand why they're doing what they're doing.
Exactly.
Right? We just have to know that they are not following the law, and we need to report.
Okay.
Great opportunity for notaries who know what's up to make a change in their states. This is when you step up. And I would suggest you do. All of you, Celicia, all of you should step up, because this is when we have the opportunity to show that we know what's best for our state, but we also want everybody to be in line, and it makes you an authority in your industry and in your area. So I would highly encourage you to go to where we need to go.
I like what Jen is saying, because really we are protectors of the public from fraud and abuse. This also is fraud and abuse, whether it's being done by an official or not, right? So if I was a Florida notary, I would certainly report to the Attorney General's office, especially if you guys know for sure this is going on, because they're putting.
I mean, they have a whole packet. that you
Well,
fill out?
they're putting
I mean, it's
people's
on their
lives.
website, it's advertised.
We got
They're
it,
The whole
putting,
thing
Carol.
is
They're
there.
doing it.
they're doing it. They're
They're
putting
doing
people,
it.
and what they're doing is they're putting people's lives in jeopardy. Because if you think your marriage is legal and you find out later it's not, that could
Right.
be a very big deal.
Yes, it
So you
can.
guys need to get on this.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Off to work, Carol.
All right, before I take the next question, I just want to remind people that this is not the only place that you will find me. So some of you would who are really focused on the more technical side of our business and finding out what works, what's legal, what's not legal, in actually the performance of our duties, you can join me every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and Matt is on that call with me. And we really focus more on that area and would love for you to join us. And you can just sign up on Coach Me Laura's website. And then right on the home page, you've got Laura's Inner Circle. Give me your email. We'll send you a reminder every single Friday, the day before, so that you can join us. Also, you can register for an individual call with me. It's 15 minutes, it's free, to ask me a question you don't want to do in a group forum, because that's a group forum. If you want it private, then you can book a call on calendly.com/my last name Bewer and book it with my calendar. And for those of you who are trying to figure out specialty work and you're not sure what kinds you want to do besides the most well-known ones, remember that Bill and I authored that book, Beyond Loan Signings, and it'll give you just enough information to know what is it about, how would I get started, and whether or not that's something you might want to investigate further, and you can get that on Amazon. Okay, now, Brian, are you next? Let's just see. Yes, you are.
Hi there.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Super fine.
I just had a quick question about, have you guys done digital IDs before?
Yes, I have seen them, and depending on your state, they may or may not be utilized for notarization. They may be utilized for driving a car and for other purposes. In California, we haven't had the approval yet to utilize a digital driver's license that comes through the DMV itself. So until our Secretary of State says you can use that, then they may use it for other purposes, but not for us.
And in California right now, those that do have the digital ID still have to carry their physical cards.
Yeah, that's in every state. No ID law, digital ID law across the country removes the requirement to carry your physical card.
Your hard card.
Yeah.
Okay,
So you
'cause
always
I had
have the
someone
right
try
to
give me
request
a
that.
digital ID. I told them nope.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So you're correct.
Okay.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
Thanks for asking, because I'm sure others, it just happened to me yesterday where he had his card and he goes, but by the way, he goes, can I just show this one? It was a doctor actually. And I said, well, you can, but not for me. And you can use it for many other purposes, but not me. He said, darn it. So anyways, okay. So Richard, out there in Michigan, tell us what's happening.
Oh, just have a quick question that Matt was talking about earlier about the loan signings, being able to request their own notary. How do we find out if our state allows that?
Well, you would search your statute, which I've been doing here briefly, but I can't find anything in your statute related to consumer choice of notary. All I could find was a little article from Rocket Mortgage, which basically answered the question in the following way for Michigan. It says that the consumer has a right to choose their own notary, but the title company has the right to reject any notary. So I think that's about as good as I can find right now. But Richard, you just need to search your state statutes, and sometimes you got to dig really deep, but it's in there somewhere.
And I just want everybody to know we don't mean notary statute. That kind of information is not in our notary statutes.
Right.
Okay.
It'd probably
Right,
be in your civil code or
Mhm.
government code.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, Celicia, you decided you needed to say something.
Love the hair today, Celicia.
Thank you. Yeah, I do have something to say. I've got a little tip. I don't know if it works, but I think it might, just because, especially for people who have a service-based area and who do not have a physical address. Okay.
Mm.
Inside your Google business profile, you have a place for your products, and then you have a place for, oh God, what's the other thing called? Services. Inside the service. So when you say affidavit notary or affidavits or wills or something like that, you say your choice in Jacksonville for your will and estate packages. Use the city you are in. Just add that in your description under your services. Use the city in the description. So I just got that little tip yesterday. I've just started implementing it. I can't tell you if it works or not, but I've got a feeling that that's like one of those little extra optimization pieces. And if you haven't filled out all of those things under your services and your products, do so. So because that's when people see your Google business profile, when they look on there, that's what they're seeing. They'll see apostille agent, loan signing agent, mobile notary. They see all those things at the bottom of the page, and that's where you get to put those pretty little pictures. And you also get to use 1,000 words to describe those services. And so under services, it's that brief little 300-word thing. Under products, it's 1,000 words, and that's where you get to put the pretty little pictures. But under services, add the city you are in.
That's a killer keyword. And Matt said it in chat. It's SEO gold. Keywords help you get found. It helps Google find you. It helps Google direct people to you. So that's brilliant.
Yeah, use
And I
that
wanna-
keyword, affidavit, and use, we help notarize affidavits in Jacksonville, Florida.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I want to add to that. I put out an article last week about how to get your business listed in AI search. This is a great way because AI is more conversational. So when you list your products and services in that very way that Celicia just mentioned, it's going to send people to your website because it understands conversation as opposed to just a bullet point list. So very, very good gem today.
Thanks.
Thank you. And thanks for sharing that, Celicia. Jen, can you put the prompt
I'm working on it. Yeah.
Okay, again, but I'll read it for those who are watching us after the fact. The prompt question, and of course, people added stuff, so now it went down. Is what framework do you use to evaluate unusual notarial requests that aren't explicitly addressed in statutes or regulations? So, do you get customers who ask you to do something that is not clear about whether or not you can do that? And the whole gist of this question is, when that happens, what is your decision tree? What is in your decision tree? How do you get there? Who or what are the resources that help you find out if that's something you can do? Number one, or maybe you can't do it that way, but here's what you could do instead, right? So how do you investigate that so that you can serve your client in one way or another, or redirect them if you're not able to serve them at all? So that was the prompt question for today, to see, what do you use? Who do you talk to? How do you investigate it? And before other people raise their hands, Jen and Matt, I'm going to end up calling on you guys first to share with people what kinds of resources do you look at before you say no, or before you say yes. And Matt, what do you think about that?
Well, there's a couple of go-tos that I always have available, or most of the time have available, and that is my handbook. I carry it with me because, as much as I know, I don't know it all, and so I can reference it on the fly. And then, of course, my other resources are you guys. I call my other notaries and find out what they think, or if they've experienced this particular situation before, and find out if maybe we can brainstorm and put it together. So those are kind of the big top two for me. What about you, Jen?
Those two, and I'm looking at the other two. Having the relationship I have with Laura, Matt, Jen, multiple other leaders in our industry, and having relationships with them where I can call them or text them has been a game changer, and has helped me grow so much, because it's in those situations we get into that we don't know the answer. When we find the answer, we now become more expert in our field than we were when that whole conversation started. Yeah. I don't say no very often right off the bat. I'm pretty good at getting workarounds depending on the situation, unless it's an impossible one. I have requests every week of somebody wanting me to notarize a POA of somebody who's died. Every week, somebody wants that. So, I don't say no very often, but when I do, it's because I absolutely can. But yeah, same resources as you, and then you and Laura are my framework.
So, besides checking out, when you're at the top of the food chain, like I am, it's like, all right, who do I talk to now?
Yeah.
And I do talk with my own colleagues, Matt and Jen, about unusual things that come up. But actually, I also use the hotline. Now, you might think, why do I use the hotline? Well, I'm a member of the NNA. And if it's really something that it's not clear in the statute for me, or it's not addressed in the statute. What's interesting is sometimes something is not addressed and we think, okay, well, then I can do that. And then other times when it's not addressed, the Secretary of State says, well, then you can't do that. I mean, it's like it goes back and forth. So can you notarize for family members? Well, it doesn't say I can't. As long as I'm not involved, I'm not benefiting, then I can. Right? So there's an example of where it's not addressed, and we've decided to say, yeah, that's okay, as long as you are not benefiting. But then there's other things like corrections to an acknowledgement, and the law does not address it. And so the Secretary of State said, well, then you can't fix it because they didn't give you a provision on how to do it. So, and my state's not the only state that's like that. So there's the reason why we need resources, because you ask one person and it says, well, it doesn't say that, so I guess it's okay. You ask somebody else and they're saying, well, it doesn't say you can, so I guess you can. And that's why I utilize a resource like the hotline. And, I don't just call 15 times to get 15 answers. Of course, however, first of all, theoreticals don't work as well with the hotline, but real life requests do. Number one. Number two, they will even say, you know what, can you hold on a few minutes? And they will start checking amongst each other, just like we check amongst each other to see what the consensus is. They have that opportunity to do that as well. And of course, if they're not in consensus, they have a supervisor and a manager. And of course, if it's really out there, they have Bill Anderson. So, I mean, it just keeps going up the ladder. And of course, when something I really am not comfortable with, but I don't want to deny a legal request, I start going up the ladder. Usually I just start with the supervisor because I already know, I was one of them. And I start moving up the ladder. But when I do that, I will tell you, I don't just call them first. I'm looking at my statutes first. I'm looking at any other books. I'm looking below the handbook, because you know what? The handbook doesn't tell you everything. The handbook's kind of high level for us, but there's all kinds of stuff buried underneath it they don't publish. And you have to dig into it. So I do those things, and I might talk with Matt or somebody else before. And if I'm still not satisfied, that's when I start going to the hotline and saying, you know what, here's all the input I have. Here are the resources that I've already checked so far. It's still not clear. What do you say? And then I throw it onto them and I let them start to chew it up. So I think the more resources that you have available to you at your fingertips, the better. I always think that you should try to figure it out yourself first, because you should know most of it. But all of our states have where the law is silent. That's what I call it. The law is silent. It didn't say. And now we need to start thinking about, well, what do you think they might have meant if they wrote the law about that? What is the intent in the overall scheme of things and what they're requesting? I just want to make sure that everybody there's 67 people on this call today, that you have identified colleagues who can be resources, that you have dog-eared and highlighted your handbooks, that you have a phone number to the technicians at the Secretary of State's office who might answer the phone for you, that you have all of the different ways that you might get to the answer, so that you might come up with alternative plans. It may not be what they wanted, but I love it when I can say, I got options for you. I could do this. I could do this. Can't do that. I could do this, right? Clients respond so much better when you don't say, no, I'm not allowed to do that. They respond so much better when they know you've taken the time to try to figure out, well, what can I do? Jen, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just want to make sure you guys understand when we talk about resources, we're not talking about ChatGPT.
No.
ChatGPT is not a lawyer. It doesn't know crap about what your state needs you to do. Please, please, I beg you. It is not the solve for everything. Also, Google is not always your best resource for this. I have found many notaries call me after they have exhausted their resources using Google and ChatGPT. And it's not going to get you where you need to go. So I'm really glad, Laura, that you brought up those other resources, because I think people understand it's going to take a little bit of work on your part to find answers. They're not going to be hand fed to you all the time. And that's what's going to make you better at your job.
And I just saw Shirley post that she's in Montana, and sometimes she calls an attorney friend. And I've got to tell you, one of the best things I did when I became a notary is that I befriended attorneys, that I already had friends who were attorneys, and I really didn't have professional connection. It was more personal connection. But I started building a professional connection, never asking for work, just trying to understand how things work together in the legal, because we really fall under that legal field. And so I got to tell you, when I'm at hospitals and I'm not sure about something, or I'm dealing with a document that I think there's something more to it, I use my attorney friends as well to help me with that. And if you're brand new, you might not have them unless you have personal connection. If you do, it should be your BFF, because they can help you with just questions like that. And of course, I didn't mention this yet, but the other thing is I have Legal Shield. And because I have Legal Shield, and several of us on here have that, I've been able to, and that's where I can go with theoretical. They give me an attorney that's in my state. They usually don't know a lot about notary law, I'm going to tell you that. But they're willing to do the research. They're willing to find out an answer for me. And because they are, that service is invaluable. And I've asked all kinds of questions that involve different states, trying to get my hands around something. And it's not an easy black and white answer, question. Usually these are a little more complicated. And I might be skating on the edge, of the envelope, and I need to find out if I'm on the leading edge or the bleeding edge, because I don't want to be stepping over. I know that Patrick is on the call, and he, what level are you, Patrick? Can you just unmute
I'm
us
actually
again?
senior director now, or senior manager rather. Yeah.
Senior manager.
Yeah.
And he is a good resource if you need help understanding how your Legal Shield service works. Also, if you don't have it, then he would be. And Patrick, if you put your number in the chat for me. I
Sure.
just want to include that as one of your potential resources. But again, you need to be pretty knowledgeable yourself about what it is you're going to ask.
Yeah.
And then they can give you what their take is on it. I use that particularly for signature by proxy, because we only have that in California for powers of attorney and healthcare directives and nothing else. And not only is it there, it's in probate code, not in the Secretary of State's handbook. So you're not going to find it there, but it is in probate code. The problem is we don't have any rules that tell us this is how you do it. This is what the signature would look like, and this is what your process is. And are you the witness, or it has to be a third party witness? All those rules are missing for us, which is why we really can't do it unless under the direction of an attorney. So don't go try it yourself just because you see it's there. And if you call the NNA, they will tell you that it's there, but here's the restrictions around it. You really need the advice of an attorney to do that. So I went to Legal Shield for that, so that they could lay out for me what the steps they believe would be right for the state of California as an attorney, so that I do have that. And now if I had to do it, I could. Okay, anybody else prompted by our prompt today to talk about resources? If not, your question can be about anything you want. Just wanted to get that ball rolling and remind you of who and what your resources could be. And of course, our call is, but you can't wait a week to find out.
Yeah.
My call is on Saturday, but you can't wait till a week, till next Saturday when you got a client who's waiting. So you need to also have resources that are at your fingertips.
Well, while we're waiting for questions, I want to remind people that if you want to watch the replay, the link is in the chat. It's on Laura's YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, to join the Facebook page for TNT, I want to remind you, you can only come as an individual, not as a business. You must put your email that you registered for TNT with to be approved. But come on over and hang out with us over on Facebook.
And that's another great place where you could post a question.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah, because we are like-minded individuals here, trying to help each other and lift each other up. Some of the forums out there, you ask a question, and first of all, you're going to get 10 different answers. Second of all, you might get an answer that says, well, read your handbook. It's like, oh yeah, I didn't think of that.
Yes.
So there can be some really snarky responses to your very well intentioned and reasoned questions. So be careful where you post. Make sure if you have a question and you decide to use a forum, do it in a forum that you're confident will respond kindly. Whenever possible, choose kindness. My goodness. Not a lawyer. I was just looking at Matt that said, but is often a liar. And I'm like, who's he calling a liar?
GPT.
You guys, I'm seeing all these requests to the Facebook page and you're not giving emails. We really need to put your email in there. You can't emphasize it enough.
If you're not getting responded to, that could be why.
Yeah.
We need that in there. And Matt, were you on the call last night for Notary Stars?
I was not. I missed it.
Okay, so here's one of the reasons why we make people register with us. We were maybe halfway through a call. It was a training on a new builder package, which was Beth did it. It was fantastic. She was going through the documents, and about halfway through, she lost control of her mouse. The next thing she knows, stuff's happening, and she's out. I mean, we're all sitting there on the call. There's like 250 people on this call, and one of the other people that was on the call started to communicate with us, saying, okay, yeah, there's a problem here. She's going to come back in. She had to reboot. We'll see what's going on. And then within, it was probably 3 or 4 minutes, she was back on again and said, yes, it was a hacker who was trying to, they were fake names, fake numbers, fake everything on the documents. I don't know what the hell they thought they were going to get. But in any case, it was a hacker trying to get in. So she quickly shut it down and rebooted hers. And so that was the end of that. But these things happen. and we need to be careful. That's why we want you to be registered for this call and registered for the Facebook page. And Notary Stars, Lynn, notarystars.com is owned by Ronnie Mickle, and there are classes by himself, but he's got a string of instructors, including Beth Hathhoot and Kristen Bly and Manuel Puga, and his latest is Amy Curtis, formerly Sites, and that's the remote. And they're a community, like we're a community, but he also has a very heavy training in loan signing world. And if you're interested in that, go to notarystars.com. And you can get information from his homepage. And the Monday night call is always free. That was a free training. I charge for that training. I have the same kind of training and I charge for it. And that was a free training. So if you missed it, if you're a member, you can get access to the replay. If you're not a member, well, then you missed it. Sometimes that's how it goes. All right. Well, I see it's 5 after 1. We do have 10 minutes of time to address any kinds of questions you might have for me, but I'm always willing to let you go early because we got lots of stuff all of us on our plate to
Yep.
do, right? So I don't have to wait till the very last minute. Oh, well, you know what? Since we do have some time, Jen, why don't you go ahead and answer the question? You had posted
Yeah.
information.
I am the founder of a notary network. I've talked about that before on this call, in Central California. And we are hosting our first public notary workshop in October in Selma, California, which is near Fresno. It's open to California notaries specifically. I don't think we're going to be doing any kind of work that would work for outside California notaries. But I'll put the link in the chat again. You guys can check it out. My first link was weird. You can check it out. I'll give you all the information if you're interested. There's early bird pricing right now until August 31st. And it'll be a really great event. We're very excited about it, and I'm excited to have you guys show up. You know who reached out to me, Laura, about this was my brain just stopped. She's in Modesto with you. She's my notary BFF, and I forgot her name.
No, I've got several connections. I got Sona, Nina.
Sherry.
Oh, Sherry DeLon.
Yeah, I think she's coming.
Okay.
So, yeah, it'll be fun.
Okay. People continue to have these live events, and if it is in your sphere, driving sphere, to attend it, not only do you get an opportunity to refresh and get new notary information, but it's also an opportunity to network with those that are in your area, particularly when it's not a national one. And Selma's, is that Fresno County? Yeah,
Yep.
Fresno County.
We're right in the middle of the state.
So you got to
go down the 5 over the Grapevine, through Bakersfield. Do I think it's worth you driving 3 hours? Might be. I don't think you should.
Look at the agenda. Go on. Yeah, go on
the website. It'll walk you through the entire agenda. Yeah.
Look at the agenda and see if there are things that, particularly call your name.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out to me.
Yeah. All right, then I think what we're going to do is wrap it up for today. We will be back next Tuesday, and Jen Neitzel will be back with us. You can catch me this Saturday with Matt on Laura's Inner Circle at 8 a.m. Pacific time. Matt, did you have something you needed to announce? I saw a finger.
Yeah, we won't be here next week, but Jen and Jen will be doing the marketing call next week.
Oh, that's right. We will be there. Guys, we'll just share a little secret here. Matt and I are traveling to Biloxi, Mississippi for the Secretaries of State conference. They have their own conference. And yes, you get to just meet the Secretaries of State. I got to have lunch with our own Secretary of State 2 years ago when I went, but there is a division of the administrators that report in, and they have their own workshops and presentations, and Matt and I will get to be there. And it's great because you get to hear the inner workings of what they're thinking and what's going on and what might come down the pike. for us as notaries in general. And so I'm very excited to join Matt at that conference. So we won't be here next Tuesday, but Jen and Jen, it'll be the Jen and Jen marketing show there.
The Jen and Jen show.
There you go. All right, guys, have a great rest of your day. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.